Today I am interviewing an IT instructor. Hey everybody, this is Zach with IT Career Questions, and today I have Dana Fellows, who is an IT instructor, and he is going to do an interview with us. So welcome to the YouTube channel, Dana, and if you could, tell us about yourself and, maybe what degrees you have, and just give everybody a little bit of an idea on you.
Okay, so I've been involved in technology about 15 to 20 years, but as far as IT, probably 12 to 15 years. I was actually a design draftsman before that, and that kind of got me into the tech part, doing AutoCAD. I found that where I was working, we needed tech support, but we didn't have it. So as far as like network and a printer, file management, storing things on the network, that was lacking. So I started teaching myself ways to better organize that type of stuff, and got me interested in like IT. So then a funny thing happened. The company I worked for filed bankruptcy and closed. So here I am in my 30s thinking, am I a draftsman or am I an IT guy? So I decided I liked IT better. So decided to go back to school, get a formal degree in technology to support the experience I had. So I had some experience, but not a degree. So I had a chance. That was a good time to go back and get that. So went back to school, got a 2-year degree. Almost immediately realized that that might not be good enough to get me back to the level of income that I was at before. So I just continued and got my bachelor's degree at that point. In the meantime, I did find an IT job, start working, get some more hands-on experience, and then things just kind of took off from there.
Okay. So you kind of mentioned that you were like 30 when you kind of jumped into IT.
Yeah, it's kind of a little more than 30, but
well, so
my mid-30s.
Okay.
Yeah. So
a lot of my viewers, I get asked a lot, am I too old to get into IT? I get asked that very frequently, and so you being an instructor, and
yeah, so
being older, getting into it.
Yeah. So
do you have anything?
In the past 15 to 20 years, I've been busy. I'm also, somebody's got a rat or something in the corner, but so anyhow,
definitely a rat in the corner. That's for sure.
In the past 15, 20 years, I've been busy. I've accomplished a lot. But I've been busy doing it. So, so I was in my mid-30s. Technically a drafting person. I changed gears. Changed careers. Got like I said, let's say about 35, got laid off, went to school 2 years, I was like 37, got a job, continued with school, I was about 40, then I got into teaching. That's kind of a long story. It was by accident. I didn't go out and say, hey, I'm going to be a teacher. I just kind of fell into it. So taught 10 plus years at a career center where juniors and seniors would come. They get dual credit, college credit, and high school credit. An opportunity came along recently at a community college. So it gave me a chance to teach additional things, more of a flexible schedule, a better variety. Gave me a chance to, like I said, teach additional things and some different things to expand what I was teaching. At the high school, I was just teaching the same thing over and over.
What were you teaching at the high school? Just a quick rundown.
Yeah, so the first year students would come in, they could be juniors or seniors, and they would start like PC repair, which would align with A+ certification. So a couple things would happen. So we do 1 semester A+, they prepare for the A+ certification, they got 3 college credits, plus the high school credit. The second semester, they would do networking, which would align with the Network Plus certification. So we covered everything they would need to successfully pass the Network Plus, CompTIA Network Plus. If a student was a junior and came back a senior year, they would do Security Plus 1 semester, then Linux Plus the second semester. So for a long time, we were also squeezing in some Microsoft Server stuff. So a student could potentially get 16 college credits be prepared to pass like 4 or 5 different certifications, 4 CompTIA, 1 Microsoft, and they'd also earn a certificate from the college, PC technician certificate.
Right.
So they walked out quite a bit. Schools start cutting money. They quit letting kids come for 2 years. They said like only seniors could come. So that really hurt that part of the program that we built up. So I was a little disappointed in that. So during that whole time, I was also teaching part-time at the local community college.
Mm-hmm.
And that was I enjoyed that. We were teaching like Microsoft Server, Linux again, security, network security. Let's see what else. The A+, CompTIA A+, PC Repair, Network Plus, just all the basic networking courses. So I did that for like 7 years, part-time at the college and full-time at the high school. So.
And what are you doing at your current job right now?
At the current job, so like this semester I'm teaching Network Plus, the second server course, security, Linux, the second CCNA course. Last semester was like CCNA 1, Server 1, also Network Plus. Somebody else teaches the A+, CompTIA A+. Things I don't teach are programming. I don't teach any programming classes. Scripting, I don't teach any of that. But mostly just the networking courses. So.
Okay. And you've been teaching about how long?
Over maybe like 12 years in a formal setting. Before that, what got me into teaching was the place I worked at before it was called like the Regional Office of Education.
Mm-hmm.
So in Illinois, there's different ones in different areas. And that got me exposed to the teaching environment. And I did some workshops like PowerPoint, Word, Excel. And I was thinking to myself, as I was doing those, I was also dealing with adults. I said, hey, this is a lot of fun. I might kind of enjoy this. And when this teaching job with the Career Center came open, I wasn't sure I was even qualified because I didn't have a teaching degree. Well, then I found out to teach at a Career Center, they are more interested in your background, your work experience. You didn't really have to have an official teaching degree. I got one later, but they bring people from industry for these types of jobs. So that's how I got into teaching.
So this is a question that I got from one of the YouTube videos that I did. And it's, do you keep in touch with your students after they finish school? And if so, on average, how many end up working in the IT field that you do keep in touch with?
All right, so at the high school level, I would probably have maybe upwards of 50 new students per year. And to be honest, maybe half those students were taking the tech classes because it was better than whatever was offered at their high school. Mm-hmm. So the kids would get on buses, come to us, and take the classes. So I was, at the beginning of my career teaching, I was a little bit disappointed that not all the kids were crazy passionate about IT. I thought they would be. And I found out, okay, half of them are, they're here just because it's better than whatever, taking another math class or French or something like that. So I had to get used to that, but but they all learned something, whether or not how deep they involve themselves and how far they would go is up to them. But yeah, so as far as keeping in touch with students, from the very first year, I every year there's a core group of students from each group. I'm saying at least over 100, probably like on social media, I'm still in contact with. A lot of them are doing very, very well, better careers than what I ever imagined, would be possible.
And all working in IT?
Yeah. Well, some of them actually I was disappointed. I had a student of the year who went on to a big insurance company and switched from IT to like business analytics or something strange. Who cares about it? But others, IT directors of companies, and they're in their mid-20s. Others, actually, one other student went to teaching, which I was kind of proud of, kind of follow my footsteps a little bit. IBM, State Farm, Allstate, Country Insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield, a lot of insurance companies students have gone to work at. Local hospitals, I've got students working there. I don't know if I mentioned Caterpillar, John Deere, companies that they've gone on to. These are Illinois companies. So I'm between Moline, Quad Cities, Peoria, Dubuque, like IBM in Dubuque, and up in Chicago. Just dozens and dozens of kids are out working, which is, and I keep in contact with most of them. So they're kind of like, now they have become in a way, like my advisory group, because it's like, for me, it's like, what should I be teaching? And sometimes I doubt, like, am I teaching the right stuff? Is it relevant to what's needed?
Right.
So I could go on social media, ask a question to my former students and get 10 responses within a few hours. Like, yeah, this is right. Yeah, this is,
Or make it a dumb response from me.
Yeah. So. But you were never my student, but we've become friends.
Right.
And you guys work in IT. You guys are, I don't know what you call it, doing the hands-on stuff and doing the real world stuff. And I use that term all the time when I teach. I go, in the real world, you do this. The book's telling us to do this. This lab's doing this. In my experience and people I talk to, you don't do it this way. You do it this way. And students appreciate that. Like, why are we learning this? I go, because it's on the certification. If you want to get certified, you need to learn this.
Right.
And then you can maybe forget about it later. But for now, I'm telling you to learn this, and then you can forget about it later.
Yeah, that's something that I think I kind of touch on with a lot of my videos. I don't know. I know you watch some of my videos, and I don't expect you to watch all of them by any means.
When I want to fall asleep, I
don't really. I know Chris Davis of PC Addicts does that often.
And puts me to sleep.
Yeah, that's fine. I understand.
I'm just joking.
Fine. No, that's fine. But that's something that I touch on. I mean, I always tell people, go out and get a degree, get a certification, because nowadays you need those things. It looks great for you. And really, it's essential, I think, nowadays.
Yeah.
But whatever you're learning in school, it's great to get some of that experience. It's great to get some of that knowledge. But whatever I'm actually doing out in the business world is really a lot different than what you're learning in school. We do things a lot differently. That can be said from business to business. You're going to do things so much differently.
It's hard. So the ideal, here's how it works. So I get a student as first year, they're doing like PC repair and networking maybe the same semester. So they're, which is good. They're learning all the basics. They're learning, IP addressing, all the basic stuff, and as they advance, as they go through the classes, I don't know where they're going to end up. They might end up at like a hospital environment or a school, or their interest or their niche, I would say, they might not remember commands, so maybe they're not going to be into Cisco too much because they can't remember all the commands, or they don't like that. They like dealing with a GUI interface with a server. So, they might find a niche that they like better, which might end up steering them toward one area of a career rather than another, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So it's hard for me to prepare every student for every possible IT job. And then, but I can teach them all the basics. And, I can present the basics, and it's up for them to learn it, absorb it, and have a passion to go further with it. So, I don't know where they're going to end up, so I can only do so much with them. And I tell the students, I say, the ones of you guys that are going to be the most successful are the ones who are going to go home and tinker with stuff. So you might learn something, like the one class we set up a NAS, Network Attached Storage. Mm-hmm. And, we have like an hour. We install it, we connect to it, we get into it, we configure it a little bit. The next week we're on to something else. And the students come back next week, they say, hey, Mr. Fellows, I took an old PC and I threw some hard drives in it, and I set up a NAS, and I put all my music on there. And those are the types of students that are gonna, they took a little bit of what I showed them, and then they multiplied it by 10. And they weren't, other students come to class and they expect me just to pour all the information into their head, they leave class, they don't touch tech again the whole week. They come back and they expect me to pour more information, and they expect 2 years to be, work ready, job ready. And then unfortunately, when I get a phone call, say, hey, can you refer any, got like an entry level IT job? Can you refer some people? Who I'm going to think about are the kids that come back and say, hey, I set up my own, NAS server, or I built a firewall from Linux, OS or whatever. The ones that are, have the passion and the drive, that they're teaching themselves. And I know you're self-taught pretty much. And really, every student has to be self-taught. I can guide them, and another problem is information overload. So
Right.
I've heard you say to your viewers, say there's YouTube videos to learn anything. Well, you can. What do you learn? Where should I start? What should I do first? So, students come to me. They do in the A plus, Network plus. Then they do security. Entry level server, and then beginning Cisco, and then we build on that, and then from there, now there's things like cloud computing. I can tell them about it, but that's kind of beyond the basics. Some students go there. Some students have gone to specialize working in network storage, SANs. Managing a SAN. That's stuff I don't really teach. I teach a little bit of it, but we don't have the equipment to do labs, those types of things. So the student, depending on what they like, and as they learn stuff, they get interested in things. They bring it back, say, hey, I did this or that. They find, like I said, niches, what they like. So I'm not sure what that question was. What was the question? Oh, do I keep touching
Yeah,
on students?
I think God brought it into
Yeah,
something completely different.
So as these students give me feedback what they're doing, it's really amazing what they're doing. And some are like, how do you even think of getting into this or that, or how did you stumble into this? And it's they all go different directions, and but they all start with the basics. So start with the basics, and then from the basics you'll hear about things, talk to people, get interested in different areas, and expand out from there.
What do you think the secrets of effective learning are in IT?
So the secrets of effective learning, you start with the basics, PC repair type thing, Network Plus type curriculum. You've mentioned Professor Messer several times. So I've always found I like to get two sources to learn the same thing from. So if I'm learning Network Plus type curriculum stuff, Professor Messer would be a good one source, and then a second source, find things to supplement that, because different people hearing it different ways might, they might tell you something different. They all tell you the same thing, but different ways, and hearing it twice is good. So when I learn things, I have to stay one step ahead of my students, so I'm constantly learning myself. And I'm going through some Cisco stuff myself right now, and I actually read and study the official Cisco material that they give out, which I use to teach. But I also go on YouTube. If they're explaining a routing protocol, I go through the Cisco stuff. Then I also go to a YouTube video, find what appears to be a very reputable video of somebody like yourself might have done, and watch it explained a different way, and maybe explain, maybe even find a third video explaining the same thing, and then between the three, because I got to go back and present it, and I pick up ideas from everywhere, and it helps me understand it. So even as a student, I tell my students, I say, don't just take what I'm saying in class, supplement that with some additional reading. Google what we're talking about, find some good, reliable sources, and read more about it. The students that are passionate and who really want to do this for a career, you don't have to tell them what to do. They go out and you just point the right direction, and then they take off with it. But like I said previously, there's so much information out there. Students sometimes just need to be they need a coach, or a
Right.
mentor or some guidance, and they can do their own learning, but they just don't know where to go.
Right.
You can't like start learning about cloud computing if you don't know the basics. So, like start here, be patient, take your time, go through it, and then expand from there. So, yeah, so your question was secrets of effective learning IT. Don't try to get overwhelmed. Do a little bit each day. So I know some people try to like cram 8 hours of stuff in on one day, then they don't touch it for a week, and then they kind of forget what they learned. So kind of do a little bit of something each day. Stay at it, because within 2 or 3 months you'll be just surprised at how much you've learned if you just keep at it just a little bit each day.
Right.
So
That's great advice. I mean, I definitely agree with that.
yeah.
For sure.